Okay, in less than a week here, I posted some videos on the forum on how to sheet a wing and how to, I haven't posted the how to sand flaps yet, it'll probably be in this run, but how to do wing tips and how to do the landing gear blocks, and just trying to catch up with Steve Fitton on his build. And what we're doing now is I'm putting on the first coats of dope. Now this is the only piece that I have started for this Thunderbolt project, is the wing, but it's ready to cover. The flaps have been done, the hinge has been put on, sanded, and the horns and everything. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, because I can't paint right now, it's really humid out, and I've got all these airplanes to paint, but I got to, I want to stay busy doing something, and I can't bring in 50 million airplanes in my shop, so I got to wait till the weather breaks so I can spray. But I want to go ahead and work on my project in time management. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm putting on a few coats of dope. I'll be putting on a few coats of dope in the next few days. One coat tonight, we'll let it set. I'll sand it with 320. It's, everything. And then tomorrow, unless the weather picks up, I'll put another coat on it, let it set for a day, and then sand it, and then we'll cover it. And then, so we're looking at 4 days to get it all ready to cover. That'll be today with one coat, sand it with 320. Tomorrow with one coat, we'll wait a day. Then I'll paper it and put one coat on it and wait a day. And then the next day we'll put another coat on it. So on the 5th day, I should have a wing that's ready to paint, or close to ready to paint anyway. Because I don't want to load this thing up with a lot of dope, because it's an electric. It's a big wing. It does have the landing gear blocks in the wing, but it's it's getting heavy already. When I say heavy, it's probably an ounce overweight. And that doesn't sound like much, but if it's an ounce here and an ounce there, it certainly adds up quick. So it's 700 inches. It's 16 ounces. Complete, ready to go. Controls, horns, flaps, landing gear clips, weight box, everything. This wing is finished. It's ready to install, less the paper. So we'll see what's on there with the paper. Let me get the phone. Hello. More forum calls. Aren't we lucky? But anyway, we were on long enough that I can go ahead and kind of dust this off with some 320, and we'll put a second coat on it and set it aside to dry till tomorrow, and we'll paper it tomorrow. So, as I've shown you, I've put one coat of 50-50 on it. I noticed that these hinges are kind of, I'm not sure that it would make a big difference, but I might put in another hinge on the flap. So this is 320, we're just lightly sanding it, knocking the fuzz off because I'm going to put another coat on it. This is another airplane I want a super finish on, but I don't want it to weigh a whole lot, so I'm going to have to do the time management on this and not use much material. I'm thinking this is going to be a Razorback. I'm also thinking I'm going to try to copy Billy's Razorback and make a duplicate of it. I don't know. I really liked my my bubble. But I did wait 10 years to get the canopy mold, so we might do the Razorback. That's patience. 10 years to get the canopy mold. And now that I see or have the mold in my hand, I could have made that mold. But there again, I didn't know what it looked like. But we're going to make one before I give it back. Okay, quick sanding. Come back with coat of clear dope. I've always, ever since 2004, when I went to see this airplane at the World Championships, I've always had a liking for this airplane. I'm kind of cheating by doing a foam wing. I'm not sure that, you know, we're going to give up an ounce. It's just the way it is. I'm hoping that electric will pull this with no problem. We're going to find out. If not, I'll put a bigger electric motor in it. More battery. I want to start the season off next year with some new airplanes. There was a time there that I was down to one airplane. Now I have several. I have to start on a classic project that I said I was going to build for a guy. So that'll be coming up at Control Line Craftsman. Plus we have our, there's just not enough time in a day to do all this stuff. I'm going to have to get some avatars on that site. I noticed that some black paint is coming off this brush. It's a bad thing about these brushes. Even though I doctored it up, we're still getting some paint off the shank. Now you notice I don't have that fiberglass piece in the middle. I just don't use it. I normally don't even do that fiberglass tape in the center, but I thought we would on this one. Got some double-aught Silkspan, or triple-aught Silkspan I'm going to cover this with. Hard to find stuff. You can't hardly find Silkspan, period. Rodak has some, but it's not like the K&S. I bought up a couple rolls of K&S when the Silkspan shortage went out, like 100 sheets or whatever, and that's since gone. Like I said in one of my prior videos, my supplies are running short. First off, I just don't have the money. Second off, this stuff is just drying up, and now with the Congress looking to limit UAVs, which I don't, we don't know where we're going to land with that. I'm hoping that control line or tethered flight will be lumped, it's like flying a kite. It's not considered an actual aircraft. But you know how bureaucrats are. It could be a disaster. Or it could be a boom for us. Well, we'll just have to see how it plays out. So, that's 2 coats. We'll let this dry, and tomorrow we'll see if it needs another one. I don't know this. I'll have to see. Boy, I love doing this. Okay. That's it. We'll come back tomorrow and do her up. So we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, if you've been following along our project here, I did the foam sheeting section. I did the block tips. I have the leave-out block and the landing gear clips video. Well, this is normally out of my sequence because I normally build the whole airplane and then I start finishing, but due to some time constraints and what have you, I'm going to go ahead and do a Silkspan video here, and we're going to get this wing ready to install. I'm not going to build the fuselage because I got to finish these airplanes, but I am going to cover this wing and set it aside for time to dry. Now it's had 4 coats of dope on the balsa wood, and sanded in between coats, and I've laid the Silkspan on it, and I'm taking my Windex and moistening it. Now what I've done here is I've torn the end and we've overlapped the center section. We're going to overlap a little ways to the center on one side. Let me move this up a little bit. I overlapped probably 6 inches or 4 inches of the center one way, and then when we come back we're going to overlap the other way. So what you want to do is you want to get all the wrinkles out best you can. Pull these wrinkles out. When I'm doing these now, I've had the opportunity to see how other people do this job. This is rather important in the finishing process, is to get all the wrinkles out. You don't want to be sanding through those wrinkles. Let's wet it a little more. Get any air bubbles out from underneath it too, because any of the air bubbles you're going to be sanding through the Silkspan. You don't want to do that. And the time you take here to get it right is so important. I can hardly explain it. And it only takes a few minutes to get it right. So when we do our build along, I will show how to Silkspan a open bay wing, which is basically the same, but we'll do a refresher on it. But this is a sheeting a foam, or finishing a foam wing here. Okay, we've got all the wrinkles out of it. One thing that I do is I take a paper towel and before I start, this is pretty damp with Windex. You just kind of want to smooth off the surface with a paper towel, and that takes up some of the excess moisture so that when you put the clear dope on, it doesn't turn milky. And then this is 60-40 clear dope. I'm going to put down a coat of clear on this, and what this does, 60-40, is it goes through the Silkspan and bonds to those layers that you put down, or those coats you put down before. And it's kind of important that you have a good, some first coat so that the paper will stick to the wood. Horn area is a little, I guess I could have took this out. Let's do that. I sure hope that my videos help you. But But you see how nice the paper laid down on there? There's no wrinkles, there's no air bubbles. We want to go around about halfway the leading edge, because we're going to bring the tissue down from the top. This is the bottom side. We're going to bring the tissue down from the top and then tear it along that line so that that seam will disappear. And when I remove the tissue from the front here, we'll tear it off. We won't. I won't cut it, because if you cut it, it will leave a line. Do a nice flood coat over the whole wing. That way we know we got plenty of dope. Do the center section. And we just followed that same procedure on the other side. Now, if I leave this line straight, it will show. So what I do is I tear it. And tearing against the grain is a little difficult. The tear wants to go not in a straight line, which is okay. It just takes a little patience to get a tear on it. This is the overlap part that sticks out just past the fillets. And you certainly don't want to see the fillets and then see a big line there in the center of the wing. So we have that. Now I'm going to overlap it. I better take off my wingtip weight box, or else it will be glued on there. Which it is already. I've already glued my wingtip weight box in my hatch. There it is. of there. Stick them on it. No. I don't want to ding it up. There we go. Okay. See, we've overlapped about 4 inches. Silkspan also has the shiny side and the dull side. Put the shiny side up. Uses less dope. Okay, we got it all laid down. Take your paper towel. Now, get it here. There we go. We're going to put a coat of dope on it. I'm going to put a coat of dope on this. I'll cut the camera, wait about, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes. Turn it over, do the other side. So this whole process of tissuing this wing will take less than an hour. Half hour per side. Okay, I'm going to cut the camera. I'll be back in 15 minutes or so when this is dry. Flip it over to the other side.